Hello and welcome to AWS Certified DevOps course. In this video, we are going to discuss the further principles of DevOps and the continuous integration and continuous delivery model. So, DevOps principle include collaborative and working as a team model. So, as we discussed earlier in the previous video, previously the development team, QA team, and operations team, there were three teams and they work independently, and they keep on blaming each other for not delivering the code on time. So to avoid these things, DevOps principle came, and it really focuses on working as a team, and it includes some principles like continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. So these three things are like involves all the three teams to get three teams together and work efficiently to deliver the softwares on time, and it reduces the blame game also between the teams. So the first thing, collaborate and work as a team. The second is business and IT agility. So this is a agile methodology which is based on the feedback system. So once you develop the code, you test it, you deploy it. There's a continuous feedback system so that you'll be knowing that if something goes wrong with the code, and it can be fixed within no time, because there is a closed loop of feedback between different teams. And third is complete automation. So complete automation means like there is a minimal manual intervention in the whole process. So there will be a build, release, deployment. So all these things will be done through specific tools. So there will be a less manual intervention, and there will be a feedback at each level, so that we will be knowing which which level the issue occurred, and there will be a continuous monitoring of that, and it can be fixed with minimal efforts. And the other thing is like there is a version control as well. So if some new code is deployed into the infrastructure, and there it will be having some version, so we will be knowing after which code change the issue started. So we can go through that code, we can make some changes, and we can identify that which piece of code is creating the issues. So this will be the benefit of using DevOps in the current IT scenario. Another one is test and version application code, and test and version infrastructure code. So these things, like we are doing versioning of codes, we are testing it in the test environment, and then we are deploying to production. So within test environment, the will be able to know that if this code is going to work or not, because we will be building the same infrastructure as like the production, so that we can test the things before deploying into production. So it's a very successful method that can be implemented. Another thing is monitor and measure everything. So we are going to monitor each version of code and each level of deployment and integration. So in this way, we can reduce our efforts, we can keep a track of all the changes and deployments, and we can fix the issues within time. So this is going to be a very great method of software development and deployment. So so now we are going to discuss the continuous integration thing. So continuous integration is the practice of quickly integrating newly developed code with the main body of the code that is to be released. So continuous integration saves a lot of time when the team is ready to release the code. DevOps didn't come up with this term. Continuous integration is an agile engineering practice originating from the extreme programming methodology. The term's been around for a while, but DevOps has adopted this term because automation is required to successfully execute continuous integration. Continuous integration is often the first step down the path toward DevOps maturity. The continuous integration process, from a DevOps perspective, involves checking your code in, compiling it into unstable, often binary executable code, and running some basic validation testing. So here, as you see in the diagram, we have a developer. He develops some code and he wants to integrate that code to the already existing big code that is ready for deployment. So he will do a version control. So his new code will give a new version to the whole to the complete code. And after that, the continuous integration server, the CI server, that will be keep on pulling for the new version of code. So once it finds that the new code is present in the version control repository, it will fetch that code and it will try to deploy it into the test environment. So this is how the polling and the new code will be generated into the version control repository, and the CI server will be polling for it for the new. And once the code is tested correctly in the testing environment, it will be deployed into the IT operations. The IT operations guys will be deploying that code. They will build AMIs out of that. They will validate the templates, and then they will deploy the code into the operations environment. Now, the next thing is continuous delivery. So, continuous delivery is an extension. So, it's a stage two. Continuous delivery is an extension of continuous integration. It sits on top of continuous integration. When executing continuous delivery, you add additional automation and testing so that you don't just merge the code with the main code line frequently, but you get the code nearly ready to deploy with almost no human intervention. It's the practice of having the code base continuously in ready to deploy state. So, continuous deployment, not to be confused with continuous delivery, is the most advanced evolution of continuous delivery. It's the practice of deploying all the way into production without any human intervention. Teams that utilize continuous delivery don't deploy untested code. Instead, newly created code runs through automated testing before it gets pushed out to production. The code release typically only goes to a small percentage of users, and there's an automated feedback loop that monitors quality and usage before the code is propagated further. There are a very small number of companies that are truly practicing continuous deployment, like Netflix, Amazon, Pinterest, Flickr, and Google are popular examples of companies doing continuous deployment. So, this concludes the continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. So, thank you for listening. Have a great day.